I want you to get better with your transitions and more creative. Here's what I would consider a quite simple mix.
Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you.
And there's nothing wrong with this mix. In fact, I would do this probably 9 times out of 10. But now and again, you want to take your transitions to the next level, and I want to help you do that with a bunch of different genres. Let's go. Okay, most controllers and most technology, most DJ software now has stems. And what I want to do is I want to use stems and looping and use the technology that we have at our disposal to create unique and interesting transitions and just take our transitions up another notch. So first things first, I've got a cue point set at the beginning of the vocal on the pauser track. And then on deck 2, I've got a cue point on a long build-up section where we're going to mix in. We're also going to be utilizing stems on Record Box. It also will work with Tractor, Virtual DJ, Serato. And I'm going to use my stems up here. You can use yours on the software. If you don't have access to something like a Flex 10, you can just click the buttons on the software. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a big dramatic build-up. We're going to use the stems and we're going to loop a vocal section, creating tension and taking this transition up a level. So as this track's playing, making sure our BPMs are matched at 130. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start to slowly bring in our next track. Both tracks match in key, and that's important. We skipped back. We're going to take the drums out. Take the instrument out. Maybe a small echo. And then we're going to set a loop on this vocal. We can filter this vocal. Set a 1-beat loop. Halve it. And then we just added the vocal section just to exit that loop. So you can see from the first example, the kind of standard mixing one track after another, we've really elevated it, giving the audience something to think about and some tension, some atmosphere before dropping into our next track, which is At Night. So we've talked through how to do it. This is how it should sound when it all comes together.
Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you. I have no excuse. I just want you to use me. Take me and abuse me. I got no taboos. Make a trade with you. Do anything you want me to. Money talks. Money talks. Dirty cash, I want you. And dirty cash, I need you. Money talks. Money talks. Dirty cash, I want you. Dirty cash, I need you. Need you. Need you.
We listen to our music at night.
Dirty cash, I need you. Dirty cash, I need you.
Whenever a big track drops, there's always remixes or edits of it. This time we're going to mix a Kendrick track, which is huge, and then we're going to mix it into the house version. This is great for open format DJs that need to either bring up the energy of the set, or if you're playing a house set and you want to mix it up or throw a surprise, you can play one of the biggest tracks out there, a Kendrick Lamar track, and then mix it into your style and play some house. So a good tip is always, whenever there's a big track out, do your research, go and find them edits on SoundCloud, go to your favorite DJ pool or your streaming service and try and find some remixes to play, and then get creative with the transition. So I have the Kendrick track.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for
And then we got a remix of it.
the horn on me. Look at my seat. I keep ownership. The blueprint is by me. Make it get off, I get off and I
So first things we're going to do, they're both in the same key, so we don't need to worry about anything to do with key matching. What we are going to do is we're going to sync them together. We're going to sync them at the hip hop tempo. What we need to do then is we need to set our tempo range to a quite wide tempo. So I'm going to go for plus 16 on this one, because we need to be able to bring slowly this house tempo up to its original tempo, which is 128, somewhere around there. And if I was on plus 8, you might run out of space with the fader. So starting at the original tempo at 104, we've got both synced. Now it's about listening to elements of a track. We've got stems on here, which we can use, but in this particular track,
reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes
there's already an acapella in there. So if your controller doesn't have stems, make sure you're listening to tracks for different parts of isolated vocals, which you might be able to loop or experiment with. In this scenario,
reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep
we've got a great acapella there to work with. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the house drums over the acapella.
reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies.
What we're going to do, we could either loop that, or we can take it a step further and just maybe add in a little baby scratch to just increase the technical skill in this transition. So as the track's playing,
Reincarnated, town eyes dilated. I got the money and the power, both gyrating.
so counting in phrase,
Fuck out my face. Look good, but she don't got no ties.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated.
So I'm pressing this, the cue point.
Babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies.
So that's going to create our loop for us. Like I say, if you just want to loop this, you can just hit your loop parameters and set a simple loop. I'm just adding a little bit more skill to this transition. Then what we need to do, as I'm doing that, we need to figure out a way of increasing the tempo. So there's a lot going on, but as we're increasing as we're scratching, we're going to bring up this fader or this fader. If I just move this fader down a little bit so we've got enough room. So there we've got loads of space now to be able to get this fader to 128. So as the tracks are playing,
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my baby. Reincarnated,
I've got some time to bring it up in tempo.
my babies. Reincarnated,
And every time I'll bring it up about 5 BPM.
my baby. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated,
Maybe I'll add some echo.
life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep
Sounding really, really, really clean. Using that echo to exit the transition. And then we're into a totally different genre. So I've shown you what to do and how to do it. Here's how it should sound.
Squabble up, 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 squabble up. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, I need her, my babies. Woke up looking for the broccoli. I keep a horn.
This next transition is super popular in drum and bass, and it's called a double drop. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you two different drops of two different tracks, and as we're playing live, we're going to bring elements into the track in phrase. So you're basically live remixing using two tracks. Now the most important thing is that the tracks match in key. So if the tracks aren't in key, you can just hit key sync on your DJ software. So you see here, this is in 2A, it's been pitched up one semitone to match the track on deck number 2. So they both match. So let me play you the drop.
My computer is picking up a strange signal.
So we've got some drums and some bass quite spaced out, and then we have this. A bit more energy. So what we do in double drops is all about phrasing. So we're going to set a cue point 32 beats before a drop, and we're going to set a cue point 32 beats before a drop on deck 1 and deck 2, basically. So as this track's dropping in here, here's the drop.
Picking up a strange signal.
So we can cue the track up there, and then on my DJ software, I'm just going to go back 32 beats. So here I've got 16 beats on this Flex 10, but you can use your DJ software if you want. So I'm just going to jump back 2 points. So you can see I've already got a cue point set up. Now that's 32 beats, and I'm just going to use that as a visual marker. And if you need a marker, this is how you're going to do it, because then you're going to know when to press the right cue point. So if we go to the drop of this track, so that's where we're dropping in. Go back 32 beats, and you can see I've already set one here, but this is my blue cue point. So I know that when I get to this position, I need to trigger this cue point. So we've got the BPMs matched up, and then it's all about playing with the faders in phrase, and it's going to sound like this.
Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
Bring up the fader slowly. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're basically remixing live with two different drops to catch the audience off guard, and this is huge across the drum and bass scene and has been for many, many years. This is how it should sound in practice.
Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
Crusty little stinker.
Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
In this next transition, we're going from a big rap hip-hop trap into drum and bass. Now, the BPMs are very similar, but this transition is all about knowing your music. So we've got this huge track from Glorilla.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O in it.
And although that's drum and bass tempo, so it's easy to mix the two, it's all about thinking with your musical brain. So we've got a drum and bass track here, but the drum and bass track features a extremely well-known old school hip-hop sample. It's from the track Simon Says, which is quite an iconic, legendary hip-hop track. When transitioning, it's not just all about using the skills on the decks, it's about using the skills of being a DJ and knowing your music selection. It's a much easier transition to flip genres if the crowd is still comfortable with what you're going into, and it might not be too much of a shock. So it's quite a clever, very subtle way of leveling up your transitions. So let's talk about the skill involved. This line from Glorilla is quite a viral line at this time. It's all over social media. So we want to be utilizing this because the crowd are going to know it and the crowd are going to sing along. So we're going to play this line over and over again during this transition.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E. 50,000 new Chanel.
So that line there, super popular. So we need to work with that. So we're just going to continue to loop that while bringing in our next track. What I'm going to do is remove the vocal from the incoming track, and then we're going to play with stems as well. So as this track's playing,
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about
I've
me?
got a 1-beat echo set as well.
G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E. 50,000 new Chanel shopping spree, and every time I pop out, you know I A-T-E. Hey, bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
So what I did there was I used stems. So I've opened up my stems on my controller, which is these blue buttons here. You've got the vocal, the melody, bass, drums. So along the bottom here in Serato, you've got these little effects, these stems effects. You've got vocal echo, instrumental break. So when I'm playing this,
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E. 50,000
it
new.
will sort of break the instrumental and remove it, and then we're just left with the vocal. So what we want to do is we want to break the instrumental, we're left with the vocal, and then we're going to
Bitch,
go
I'm
back
from Memphis.
to our cue point, which is on the 1-beat. So when we're on the 1-beat,
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
we can start to mix, use the echo, and then we're going to start to play a little bit with the sentence of what she's rapping about. So as this track's playing,
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
open up my stems.
L-O-N-A-G-L-E. 50,000 new Chanel shopping spree, and every
Give yourself some time.
know I A-T-E. Hey, bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
So now we're going to play with the sentence.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
Keep that going.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
Now we'll leave it in a little bit longer.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G.
I've got another cue point.
L-E. Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me?
So I just had another cue point set up there on this section. And just playing with that, you can either use a crossfader or you can use the fader up and down. But I was just using the crossfader to cut across. And it's all about phrasing with using this kind of finger drum mashup kind of style. It's all about just going 1, 2, 3, 4. And as long as you're on one of those beats, the pattern that you come up with should sound pretty good. So I've shown you how to do it. This is how it should sound all in practice.
Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E. 50,000 new Chanel shopping spree, and every time I pop out, you know I A-T-E. Hey, bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E. Bitch, I'm from Memphis. What you know about me? Big G-L-O-N-A-G-L-E.
This next transition, we're basically going to elevate the energy by adding in some different drums. We're going to go from sort of deep house, tech house, to some garage drums and increase the tempo as well, just to give the next drop a bit of energy. So we're going to be using stems for this transition as well. And we're going to basically be removing the drums from this track and just increasing the fader. So nothing crazy going on, but you can see the change in energy when it happens. So as this track's playing, I've got a cue point set up at the first breakdown of the track, 32 beats before the drop. I've also got a cue point, 32 beats before the drop on deck number 2. So let's trigger both at the same time. I'm going to start to increase the tempo. You can see both tempos coming up. We're now at 132. I'm just going to remove the drums. Remove the vocal from this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can play around with the instrumentals and the vocals. So it's a great way to just take the dance floor energy up a little bit. If your dance floor is a little bit stagnant, if it's a little bit flat, and you want to increase the BPM, we can do that by swapping out the drums, switching genre quite easily. So here's how it should sound done right. By the way, if you're enjoying these transitions, we teach transitions like this in our complete DJ package. It's 28 plus courses with 50 hours of bonus content and access to all future courses we make in one complete DJ package. It really is unlimited DJ education. Just check the description or check this video for more information. The next transition is all about tone play, which you don't see as much anymore, but it's a really cool technique. And I do actually see a lot of viral TikToks and Instagram reels going off when people do tone play, because it's a really interesting technique when you get it right. What we're going to do is we're going to take this classic Justin Timberlake track, and at the end of it, it's got a very, very popular riff.
You know, I used to dream about this when I was a little boy.
And DJs have used this in tone play for many, many years. It's quite a well-known one. What we're going to do is we're going to mix it into another sort of big track, Tokyo Drift. And it's all about knowing the tones. You know, they've got very distinct.
I used to dream about this.
What we need to do, we need to figure out on our performance pads how to glue these two tracks together to get that crowd reaction. Because what we're going to do is we're going to be messing around on the performance pads and the crowd are going to be like, what's going on? What's next? So when you do find a track that has a very unique, distinctive melody, remove the vocal, and then just start playing around with some keys. So I've got 3 hot cues set up on one on this beat. So they're just linear. So then we need to figure out, okay, what is that pattern? Doon, 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 doon. It's not that. It might be that. It's pretty good. What you can do to take it one step further if you want is you can take off the key lock, and then when you can start to figure out in your own time, in your practice time. So that sounds a bit better than, that sounds too high, right? Way too high. Sounds a bit better, right? And we don't have to be absolutely spot on, but what we can do is create a little bit of tension, a bit of drama by decreasing this as we transition to drop into this track. So as this track's playing, we remove the vocal.
You will know the difference. Break it down.
And we drop it in that way. And that is a really, really interesting technique that not many DJs are able to use because it does involve a lot of planning and prep. But if you can bring yourself to get the reps in and do this in a live show, I guarantee it will amaze the audience. It's going to be one of those transitions where people are going to film it, upload it to their own socials. So as we break down, we're here. Hit the break, and then we can start to play, and it's all about muscle memory. So I've shown you how it's done. Here's how it sounds in practice.
You will know the difference. Break it down.
I really hope that's helped you out learn some fresh transitions. I really want to know which was your favorite and which you are going to take away and use. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to read your feedback. And if you want some more transition ideas, make sure you watch this video right here.